Man, get up here in the Zoloft and get your head right.
All right. What's good, y'all? A blessed and groovy Monday to you. Tariffs. Let's talk about it. Why are people tripping on these tariffs, man? I know doing the black sheep thing is kind of just my thing. And tariffs, I don't mind them. But I know they're gonna bring the big guns, man, to speak against these tariffs, man. They're gonna bring out the Thomas Sowells. Well, he's kind of, he's not totally against them, but he's got some concerns. They bringing out the old footage of Milton Freeman. They bringing some Milton Freemans out on this. They got Rand Paul's talking about it. And I think, when they think about tariffs, man, all of a sudden it's going to be like it's taxation. It's like taxation is tyranny and taxation is taboo and look, there's a right way to tax folks and there's a wrong way to tax folks. And I think people are forgetting that, one of the reasons why, and y'all know, man, I've got my gripes about Donald Trump and stuff like that. But these are some of the things that he's doing right when he's talking about we gonna take a sledgehammer to the IRS. Listen. Taxing income, capital gains tax, property taxes. These things are a violation of our right to property. Okay, they're antithetical to the Constitution. We're not supposed to be taxed that way. These are things that Trump is going after to bring down. But it's like people forget about that, and all of a sudden they've got this. They're going into a hissy fit over tariffs. Tariffs are a proper way to tax people. And I know that people thinking that we're going to get into a trade war and all that sort of stuff. It's like, look, what they're thinking is these tariffs are going to increase prices on these other things, but you're forgetting the costs that are going to come down on the other end by getting rid of the unconstitutional taxes that we're supposed to be under. Now, you got Rand Paul who's expressing these concerns about, this taxation should not be in the hands of, and Congress is supposed to be. Hey, Congress has been messing up the purse strings. Okay, the president is supposed to be a chief law enforcement officer of the United States. What Congress has been doing with our revenue and how they're obtaining revenue from the American people has just been wrong. You have to have somebody come in and enforce the laws and put them in checks. But dude, what you're doing is illegal. Okay, what's Congress' ideas of fixing the economy? Hey, we need to raise the debt ceiling. It's like constantly putting us into more debt. What do you need to raise the debt ceiling for when you're already increasing the debt floor? All right, you're lowering the debt floor. There's no reason to increase the debt ceiling when you're removing us higher from the ceiling in the first place. That has to come in and that has to stop. All right, you got to know when to leave well and left alone. Dang it. It's like tariffs are not a bad thing. Y'all don't be complaining about these other nations that have them tariffs, but you're complaining about us. If you want to have voluntary trade with the U.S., like you talk about free trade. Okay, free trade doesn't just mean that, hey, you just go ahead and get to trade willy-nilly and all that sort of stuff. Free trade means that you have the option. You can voluntarily trade with us, but y'all, there's things that have to be afforded concerning trades, the safe transaction between trades, the customs and all that sort of stuff. That stuff has to be paid for. What do you want it paid for with? You want it paid for with income taxes, property gain tax, property taxes, capital gain taxes. You want it paid for by taxes and fees that are not legal in the first place? Tariffs are legal. Okay, that's constitutional. Our imposts, our duty taxes and things like that, those are legal. Those are constitutional taxes. If you don't put those in place, well, then you give the government a reason to increase taxes that are not legal. Why would you do that? You got to know when to leave well enough alone. All right, so these things are paid for a certain way. It's constitutional to pay for them that way. So, when you bringing out these people, if you don't do that, man, what you're doing is it's like you want this way that's going to be like, oh, it's just absolute freedom, but absolute freedom, man. That's when you give the anarchist. It's like you think that I'm sorry to throw the L word out there, the libertarian approach way. It's like, dude, y'all don't know when to leave well enough alone. What you end up doing is that you end up putting the anarchist. What that goes into is anarchy, and what happens is that the anarchists themselves are the ones who end up running the government. Y'all be talking about, we want to be the rebels, man. The rebels been taking over, man. They've been rebelling against us for decades. They're the ones in power. All right. That's what ends up happening. So you need to know when to stop, man. There has to be a nominal degree of governance and it has to be paid for. So with these tariffs, man, leave that alone. Because while you saying these tariffs are going up, man, we got the illegal kind of taxes coming down. Give Trump room to do that. It's like they bringing out, the Milton Friedmans and whatnot, saying that, hey, who's trying to force an analogy? And don't get me wrong, man, I dig Milton Friedman, but this is an area where I just don't agree. Where you gonna have, it's not a good idea if somebody takes out his gun and starts shooting a hole in the bottom of the boat, and then you gonna turn around and take your guns out and start shooting shooting a hole in the bottom of the boat too. Okay, that's trying to force an analogy. You set the premise for that, and then you're gonna try to equate that to raising tariffs. Okay, that's an unfair premise, man, and it's unfounded. But I tell you what, since you want to go with that premise anyway, this is what I would tell you that Trump is basically doing. It's like, look, evidently everybody in the boats got guns. All right. And if you decide that you want to pull out your gun and start shooting holes in the bottom of the boat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my gun. I'm going to shoot you. And I'm going to plug the hole in the bottom of the boat. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for, bearing with me and taking a listen. Bye.
Man, get up here in the Zoloft to get your head right.